Hi guys, welcome back to Vedic Astrology. In today's video, we are going to be covering the monthly reading for the month of March, and you are going to watch this both from a Scorpio rising or ascendant sign perspective as well as from a Scorpio moon perspective. Now, of course, from a Scorpio moon perspective, Saturn Daya is going to be an important consideration that we'll have to discuss. But when you are watching this video from a moon sign perspective, you can draw your analogies in terms of the significances that come to you in your life from an emotional perspective, mental perspective. However, from a Lagna or ascendant rising Scorpio perspective, if you're watching, it is more of the manifestations into physical reality, what you're going to observe happening to you. So I hope guys that gives you clarity. Let's deep dive into the video and understand what does the month of March hold on for us. Now, Scorpios, as you guys can see on your screen here, there is a huge cloud of planets that is going to be forming in your fifth house. Now, before I jump into that, let's have a look as to what are the dates that are going to be impacting you specifically. Before 14th of March, Sun will be present in conjunction with your Saturn, which is already combusted in your fourth house. So your third and fourth house Lord is currently sitting in combustion, and he is going to be making a big transit on 29th of March that everybody is talking about into the sign of Pisces. Now, if you want to understand what does that mean for you, what does that entail, please put your comments in the box that you would want to see a transit video of Saturn, and I'm going to put that through for you as well. But until 14th of March, Sun remains in your fourth house. It is not one of the best positions from a directional strength perspective for Sun, but the good part is he is aspecting his 10th house, which is his own sign, and that is one positive outlook coming in for you folks. He's your 10th Lord as well, aspecting his own house and his own sign. From 14th of March, he will be transiting into your fifth house, where he will become conjunct with an already debilitated present Mercury there. Now, Mercury remains a direct position until 14th of March, but on 14th of March, it will get into a retrograde motion. We'll talk about that in a second as well. And it is also sitting with a already retrograded Rahu and a retrograded Venus, which is sitting in exaltation and yes, causing that Nij Bhanga for Mercury as well. Now, this Venus is in exchange with Jupiter, which is sitting in your seventh house, being the lord of your second and fifth. Whilst your lucky lord is stationed finally direct into the eighth house itself, and Ketu sitting in retrogradation, bang opposite to all these planets in your 11th house. So let's start to understand what this Mars is going to be entailing for you. Yes, we've not been very happy. I've personally been so upset about Mars retrogression, then presence in its eighth house. Not something you would want your lovely Lord, your first house Lord coming to be in that position. But at least the fact that it is in direct motion now, it is going to bring in much more relief to you folks. You have to understand that with Mars presence in the sign of Gemini, it is important that you continue to watch out on your communication as well. This Mars is giving an aspect to your second house. It is good from your monetary gains perspective, savings perspective. It is going to ensure that you continue to make your savings as you would want to like. But at the same time, this Mars is giving an exalted aspect to your third house. See, the aspect to the sign of Capricorn to your third house is coming not only from Mars, which is giving an exalted aspect, but it is also coming in from Ketu and Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is giving a debilitated aspect there, but guys, it is a ninth aspect to your third house. So I will still consider it to be a positive one. But the point to worry is that Saturn, which is the lord of your third house, it is currently combusted. And thereby, this support of Mars and Jupiter is so important while it is happening for all signs. But for you guys, Scorpios, because it is your lucky lord, which is giving that fighting aspect to the third house, I think it gives you the possibility to bring in your strength, your hard work, your efforts to the foray. Somewhere or the other, there is doubt, there is lack of self belief, there is procrastination, laziness, which could be creeping in. this could be resulted in terms of failures. Maybe your short distance travels are not working out. Maybe your relationship with your siblings is not panning out. Your communication in your formal setup, in your official setup, might be giving you a rift. But your Lagna Lord is trying his level best, even though he's sitting into the eighth house. Remember, Mars is the Lord of Scorpio, and eighth house naturally has that energy. So even if he's sitting in the Gemini sign, only for you, Scorpios, he gives you that tendency of Phoenix rising, of coming out of the shadows, and you can make full use of it. So if you are dealing with such kind of issues, turbulences from a third house perspective, given that Saturn is also combusted and it is going to be continuing being in that space for the next few weeks until Sun completely leaves and gets into its sign of exaltation in the sign of Aries. You will have to understand that it will need you to put some extraordinary amount of effort to make things happen. So do not shy away from that, Scorpios. You can do so. As we move ahead, we look into the Saturn. Saturn is going to be making a major transit. It is continuously, slowly inching towards your fifth house. It is going to be a very interesting one. And I think a deep dive into the same is warranted. But your comments is going to give me the push and the energy because I thought about it. But given all the work pressures, I've been delayed with this reading as well. So if you put enough comments and feedback, I will go ahead and make a video, hopefully by the next weekend, and release it for your. Now, Sun, which is the Lord of your 10th house, plays in the fourth, not one of the best positions to be in. When he was in the third, I was still okay with it. But when coming into fourth, there has been a definitive lack of peace coming your way. You've not been satisfied. Something that has been there in your mind that has been bothering you. For many of you, it is also possible that you could be facing challenges with respect to your assets, property, some kind of commotion with respect to paperwork, delays coming in, or maybe in the emotional and mental well being of your mother as well. So I would want you to please practice caution. Please wait things out possible. Do not let your communication suffer because your Mercury is also in debilitation. So you should not let your emotions burst out at this point in time. The reason I highlight this point is that once this conjunction moves away, it is a Raj Yoga in itself, by the way, guys. But once this conjunction moves away and Saturn comes out of that combustion, you will find that sigh of relief. Okay. In the second half of the month, Sun will be coming into your fifth house and he will be giving an aspect to the 11th. Gains are prominent for you. They are going to come. They're going to happen with time. You have to understand, Scorpios, for you, everything is panning out in the fifth house, and all these planets will be giving an aspect to the 11th. So, wish fulfillment, gains, things working out in the direction that you anticipate can happen, but it is just that you will have to understand how things are panning out for you. Now, especially if you are watching this from a moon sign perspective, as Scorpio moons, you have to understand that the Daya phase of 2.5 years of Saturn is coming to an end for you from 29th of March. And once Saturn comes into the fifth house, that turbulence that you've had in your mind, that lack of peace, that is going to get restored. So you are going to finally find yourself a lot more accomplished, a lot more in control of momentum. Yet it will take about 2.5 months for things to start reflecting until that conjunction of Rahu and Saturn is broken off. Now, Rahu has been sitting here giving an aspect to your Lagna, and it is amplifying things with a retrograded Venus as well. So yes, there are big ideas, big dreams that you're chasing from a Scorpio Ascendant perspective as well. You have to understand that the manifestation of multiple things is going to be happening for you. Now, from a fifth house perspective, what do you see? You see your children, you see your education, you see your creativity, your stock market investments. Your creativity is not just restricted to vocational equipments and tools, but also anything that you can bring in your karma itself, which means that the presence of Mercury, which is the Lord of your 8th and your 11th house, coming into debilitation but forming a Nij Bhanga and giving an exalted aspect to your 11th house, is going to bring certain level of challenges, yet your goals, your desires, your objectives will be of high end, high quality, high class, big ambitions. It also indicates that this Nij Bhanga will result into a delayed outcome. There is a retrogression aspect which is also coming into play, both from Venus and Mercury. And thereby I am saying that delay is going to happen for you. It is like the revving of the engine for a period of time before you can see the impact of it. But You have to also be cautious with respect to your communication, how you are articulating your thought process to your lover, to your kids, to your people in the family surrounding where you are expressing your thought process in itself. Maybe you do not find enough indication to be spiritual at this point in time. That is okay. Things are going to improve over a period of time. But being meticulous, not taking important decisions at this point in time, is going to be absolutely critical. More so important when both these planets are in retrograde motion. And given the fact that they are being amplified by Rahu, so you will feel this urgency of doing things and you will realize things are not happening. It is okay. Please do not lose your patience during this point in time, because that is exactly what these planets can induce in you. But as you remain consistent with your approach, with your thought process, what do I mean by that? Be it your strategy in terms of investing in stock market. Maybe you are seeing a decline. The markets are crashing. Do not pull out your money. Wait it out. If you've stuck with your philosophy, if you're stuck with your fundamentals, you will see that reciprocating in the right fashion for you. You have to play the long game, folks. If you are contemplating with respect to your education, you might see an initial hurdle coming in your way, but things are going to pan out for you. If there is a turbulence in your relationships, it will pan out. This is temporary. So this is not something permanent which is happening. It's just that this commotion is big. Our emotions, our moon, our mind is getting impacted at this point in time. And there could be one potential risk. You will have to be very clever about your character. You have to be very cognizant of what kind of temptations you might face during this point in time, because that is a probability which could increase and you have to take care of that. The good part is Jupiter's presence in the seventh house and a exchange with Venus hopefully will keep you in the right path as well. As I was talking about Rahu's presence into the fifth house, all of these planets, yes, giving an amazing aspect to your ninth, to your 11th. Rahu is also giving an aspect to your ninth, to your mind. So the ideas of wild ideas of doing something out of the box will come into play, but just hold on to your thoughts. Do not jump into any decision making at this point in time, unless and until you've planned things from before. Okay. It is also important for you to understand that this is a transitory reading that we are doing, which will have 10, 20, 30% impact on your chart. It is more so dependent on the kind of dasha, antardasha that you are going in your natal chart perspective, which is going to give a much clearer objective to you as to what kind of situations you will be facing. Yet, given that these are some of the major transits that are happening in the month of March, you will definitely feel the itch somewhere or the other. Now, as I see from Mercury's perspective, mantra chanting is going to be a very interesting thing. Whatever mantra, do not go for all these YouTube videos where people are telling you any specific mantra to chant for your success and stuff. It is not needed, guys. This is sitting into your fifth house. Any kind of mantra of deity that you believe in is going to be super helpful. And it doesn't mean that you have to focus towards mantras are predominantly seen in Hindu religion, but even if you are, and I know I have so many audience from all over the religions, whatever verses, quotes that you believe in, simple conversation with the God in any form in your prayers is going to be fruitful. So continue to do that. Do not fall for any trickery with a specific person telling you to follow a certain path. This is specific for the Scorpios that I'm talking about. Now, Jupiter, it's a Yog Karaka planet like Mars and Moon for you guys, Scorpio, sitting in your seventh house, good placement. You already touched upon the aspect of Jupiter into your third house. He's also giving an aspect to your 11th house. You see how many aspects are coming into your 11th house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And seventh is Ketu himself. And then Saturn at the fag end of it will also come and give an aspect to your 11th house. So your objectives that you are chasing, they are going to become a primary focus, folks. And do not shiver. If you find issues, you find delays, you find obstructions, do not worry, because you will be able to overcome them. Jupiter hopefully is going to do a marvelous job by giving that aspect directly to the Lagna, to your first house, to your mind, or to your moon if you're watching from a Scorpio moon perspective, making things much better from an outcome perspective. All in all, guys, March is going to be a month which is going to bring a lot of possibilities. Yes, delays is possible. Delay is a potential hurdle that you would face. But I think if you are going to remain patient, you are going to overcome all of that. It is going to be a good period with respect to work. It is going to be a period which is going to derive better outcomes with respect to your career, professional work, etc. from the second half of the month onwards. It is going to be a great period if you associate any of your desires with respect to your health, with respect to your career, with respect to money, savings, etc., relationships, and ensure that you practice patience, perseverance. You will find the right outcomes coming in for you. If you have enjoyed watching this video, then smash on that like button, subscribe to Vedic Astrology, and keep watching. Om Namah Shivaya.